Welcome back to Faye's Place, a podcast where dreamers have the liberty to dream. I'm your host, Phaedra, and I am so excited that we have this time to dream together. Today, we are speaking with a professional basketball player who's really living his dream. Locked in on the court, putting in the work behind the scenes, and still finding ways to level up every season. From playing overseas in Armenia or Iceland to encouraging people not to limit their visions and goals. Our guest will share how the wins and losses help him stay the course. I'm so happy to have Elijah Bailey, aka E Buckets. How are you, Elijah?
Thank you. Appreciate the intro.
Now, I have to tell our listening audience that we go way back to high school.
Definitely.
We were lab partners, physics lab partners.
Oh, yeah.
I look forward to physics because you and Cam, we were all sitting at the same table. And Cam and you will always make these beats on the table. And Doc, who was like 4 foot, like she was so short and she was an older lady, she would just go, "Stop the banging!
Oh, yeah.
Stop!"
Oh, yeah. Stop the banging.
I was
That made it
cracking
more
up.
funny.
And then they would like, "I'm sorry, miss, I'm sorry." And then they would go back to bang on the table.
You should know where it was coming from. You should look around. Stop the banging. Yeah, I remember that. That's crazy.
So
Funny.
take us back to 5-year-old Elijah. What did he dream of becoming?
5-year-old Elijah. Yeah, so I think that's around the time I started playing basketball. I grew up in a basketball house. Like my dad played. My brother, who was 5 years older than me, was playing. So I used to always go in the backyard with him. He basically, like, between him and my dad, taught me how to play basketball. And yeah, I had dreams of, either going to the NBA or being a professional basketball player, like overseas one day. And I looked up to my brother and my dad. It was funny growing up because, like, people ask what you want to be in 5 years. Because my brother's 5 years older than me, I'm like, that's what I want to be in 5 years. And then when I grow up, I want to be like my dad. So it was like perfect role models, growing up in the house.
So the thing about pursuing your dreams is that sometimes you are thrown curveballs. So you've experienced this right before your senior year in high school. Tell us what happened.
Oh yeah, so as you know, because that happened at Lehigh. So for like people in the basketball world, your junior, senior year is really the year that's super important because that's when you get all your scholarships for college. So the major curveball was just randomly, I was walking by my house and I noticed that there's a shade of black, like right above my nose, and it was like a little. I thought like maybe, like a shadow or something, and then thought nothing of it. The next day, it grew a little higher, and I thought it was weird. I mentioned it to my mom, and then the third day, it was like half my vision was black, and yeah, I'm 16. I didn't know what was going on, so I just went to the eye doctor, checked it out. And yeah, thank God the doctor noticed it right away. She actually had just started at a doctor's office in Rockville Center, the optometrist, and she's like, "Oh, we need to get you surgery immediately, like emergency, because if you wait another like 5 days, that blackness that's growing would completely go black and be irreversible." So I was like, "Wow, that's random," because it wasn't like anything that I don't think it was anything that directly made it happen. I think it was just over time. She said the way my eye was shaped, like obviously I would get hit in basketball, but it wasn't like um wasn't one hit that I was like, oh yeah, that was the one that did it. So it was weird, but yes, I had emergency surgery. They put a silicone buckle around my eye to hold the retina in place because it was a retina detachment, and yeah, then the doctor said like, yeah, you had successful surgery. My vision was distorted because the buckle, my vision's still squeezed in this eye a little bit, but the vision came back with the retina, and the doctor said, yeah, the surgery went well, but I wouldn't suggest playing basketball anymore. So I was like, what? And then he was like, either you quit, or you wear goggles every time you play because you can't afford to get hit in that eye again. So like, yeah, quitting was an option. Lehigh's a basketball school. I love basketball. Played it my whole life. I'm like, I'll risk my eyesight. I'll wear the goggles. So then that's the story with the goggles. That's why I started wearing it. Obviously, there are the ones I went through a couple pairs. The ones I had were bulky and I couldn't see from the side, and it like affected my playing. But I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna quit. I did cross country beginning of the senior year, got back in shape because I had to sit out for that surgery, and then yeah, from there, that's really how it went. Yeah, that's the story.
Oh my goodness. Well, a dream delayed is not a dream denied, and sometimes routes have to be redirected. So before you started attending University of New Haven, you went to Hotchkiss School in Connecticut. What encouraged you to make this move?
Oh, it's funny you asked that. At Lehigh, it's one of the best schools in New York, super competitive. So, but it was funny. I didn't have any scholarships when the season ended, not one. And I'm like, so after this surgery, I pushed through, did cross country, got back in shape. I first game of the season, I was MVP, had 20 points. Like I got my starting spot, and then the season was fluctuating. But then yeah, end of the season, I didn't have any schools to go to, and it was yeah. High school wasn't really good for me. Like it was a lot going through. Like beginning of high school, I had braces. Then before senior year, I had surgery. I used to get made fun of, and like I just didn't care. Like, I was like, I love basketball. I was always good in school. Like I had like a 97% grade average. So like the grades helped me a lot. And Hotchkiss was an academic school, and my choices were, Lehigh and Long Island. It's pretty prestigious. So I had a couple junior college offers. One in Texas, one in Iowa. They flew me out. Off of like a spring showcase I did. I think I might have won MVP in that spring showcase. Trying to see like my college options because I'm like I don't want to stop here. I want to keep playing in college or keep playing after. And that I think that spring really gave me the confidence because it was like a heartbreaking championship loss we had. We went it made it all the way to New York State Finals two basically almost 3 years in a row and lost at the championship game. So people don't understand that pain. When you get it that far, it's almost like you rather lose earlier because when you're like 4 points away from a New York State championship and you don't get it, and then you gotta like at the end of the game, it seems like a movie, like it's not real. Like you're just standing there, and then you see the other team celebrate and jumping around. You kind of just go back in the locker room, almost like crying, almost. So yeah, high school was a lot of pain between all that stuff that was going on. But the confidence really came from the spring, where I did showcases, and I was like one of the best players in the showcases. So this was like for all the great basketball players in New York that didn't have a school to go to. They would go to the showcase to try to get some recruitment options. And I had options before the showcase, like during Lehigh, I had Yale coming to a game. But my SAT scores wasn't quite there yet. So I had like some Ivy League recruitment. I had LIU Post that was local. Like I had a couple schools, but nobody ever offered me. So like the interest was there, but the offers weren't. So it was like, what do I do now? So it gave me the confidence, like, yo, if Yale's coming to they came to the state finals game. I'm like, if they're coming to the games, Quinnipiac came all the way to Lehigh to watch me play. Did get the offer, did play well. It happens. But like the fact that I was getting college coaches to, come from Connecticut, drive down to Long Island and watch me, I'm like and playing at Lehigh, I'm like, yo, I definitely could play in college.
I am shocked. Like, I
Are
didn't
you
know
shocked?
any of this. I didn't know any of this. I think this is an amazing story. I am so happy that you continued because if you would have stopped there, you never would have been really able to live the dream that you have now. You played
Yeah.
professionally overseas. Now, was it difficult making that decision to go pro? Because at the time you already had a marketing job, right?
Yeah, so yeah, I'll try to short it up because I know there's a lot that goes into it. So like everybody has scholarship. Like you remember the girls team, all the whole starting five with D1.
That's
So
crazy.
like Michigan, Harvard. So like
Yes.
for me, junior like at the time, like not have a scholarship and like saying I'm going to junior college. I'll be honest, personally, I was like, I feel like I sound crazy if I say I'm going to, JUCO in Iowa or Texas, even though it could have been the right move. And then I don't know, Hotchkiss felt better because it was like one, I was always the youngest in my grade. I have my birthday's on Thanksgiving, so I was always the youngest in the class, and I feel like that affected basketball because there are players that were a year younger than me, like a grade younger but a year older. Because I was smart for my grades, so I graduated at 17. So I feel like it made more sense to go to Hotchkiss because it was a post grad year, so it didn't count as a college year. So now that's when like my confidence skyrocketed and everything was better because now I was finally the oldest and first time in my life I was the oldest in my class or at a school. I was always used to being the baby, the younger brother, the youngest in the class. So now I was like, okay, I can have a year to work on my, my grades, work in college recruitment, be the oldest, on the team. Like I've never felt that before. So even then, I did have scholarships. So the January, I was like, this is it. This is my last couple months, and then this is it. So then January, I just went crazy with basketball. I think I averaged 25 points a game and was catching dunks, and our team was winning. And Columbia ended up coming to one of the games. I had the Division two schools, Pace University, University of New Haven, came to a playoff game, the same game, and I was getting the recruitment. And then I got Tri-State Player of the Year for the prep school conference, and I got one offer. I can't even remember where it was, but I got one Division two offer, and then I guess that conference heard about it. So like the next day, another school offered in that conference. The next day, another school offered. Then the fourth day, a school called and said, "Hey, can we come for a visit?" So then now all of a sudden, obviously I wanted to play D1, but I'm like, yo, I have full scholarships to go to school for free from all these Division two schools. So I'm like, you know what? That was the goal. Like after Lehigh, I didn't want there's a lot of politics. Like I want to go somewhere where I'm wanted, where I want to play.
Yes.
Because at
Yes.
Lehigh, I went to the coaches for help, and they would just look at me like, "Why are you worried about this? You have a game today. This is selfish." Like literally, they said like, "You're selfish for asking." I was like, "I'll go like, hey coach, like it's late in the season. I'm a
What?
senior. Yeah, like I need some help with college. Like, what should I do? Like the fact that you're asking me this, just shows you're selfish." So then it was like attack my confidence. Like, oh, am I selfish for wanting to go to school? And then I'm not gonna say any names, but one of the coaches was like, um, if they're not offering you, maybe because they don't want you, and maybe you're not good enough to play at that level. So there was no
No,
help.
they didn't,
I
Elijah. I'm so
swear.
glad. I am so glad I didn't know none of this. Okay, we would
Yeah, I
have had
swear.
Al
So
Sharpton. Okay, we would have had Al Sharpton up there. No, just kidding.
yeah, so it was a lot because it was when you're playing for a team and then the coaches don't really believe in you, it's hard to succeed. So that moving forward, I feel like I made sure that I had a good, like at Hotchkiss, I had a good relationship with the coach and the assistant coach because the assistant coaches matter too. As a young player, you don't really know how to communicate well with coaches. You kind of just, zoned in like, hey, I want to do this and that. But as I got older, I played it smarter. You know what? So I want to go where I'm wanted. I want to have a good relationship with I don't care if you're the fifth assistant coach. I want to be able to have a conversation with you. I want to be able to talk to the other players on my team. So I started putting myself in situations where I was looked at as the sixth option or fifth option. I was looked at the first option and I was wanted. So that based my decisions, even going overseas. Like that's how I moved forward. So I went to Hotchkiss, got the scholarship from somebody that really wanted me. It was like a lot of people from the team graduated or left, so it was only four returning players. So that coach told me I'm gonna come in and you probably start right away, play right away. I was like, okay, they want me. I like the campus. I like the vibe. So I ended up coming in there, and it was a great decision.
I think you were so smart because sometimes you have to make those hard decisions where it seems like you're taking a step back, but you're
Yeah,
really just
but you're really
propelling
not.
yourself going forward. Like, and I want our audience to know that even though people weren't offering you what you wanted at that time, you didn't let that stop you and you pivoted, and
Mhm.
that really helped you because you played professionally. So was it hard to get that job, like to say yes to that job when that opportunity came, or you was like, no, I'm going in, I'm going in?
Well, that's the thing. I feel like even my whole life, nothing really came. So I guess that'll be a great gem, like what I said earlier. Like I heard that metaphor where a bottle of water it might cost in bulk. It's like $1 if you buy in a pack from CVS, but in a movie theater it's like $6. If you go to the airport, it's like $8.
Right.
But like the whole purpose of it is like knowing your value because it's the same exact water bottle, but if you go somewhere else, you're valued more. So that was my basketball career because I'm like, okay, you guys don't think I'm good enough, but this coach is wants to fly me out and give me a free education, and I'm the same player. Like it's not like I got that much better in a month. It's the same. So it's like for overseas. So fast forward, yeah, I had a great college career. I was wanted. The coach believed in me, so I obviously had a great I'll show you a picture. See, I got a post. You know what I mean? I got a poster, everything.
Woohoo!
I was the poster boy. I was like MVP of the team, all conference, all region. Like led my team. Like it was way more fulfilling than my high school career. And simply off the fact that I humbled myself. I was smarter about it, and I was wanted. I went somewhere where I was wanted. So I think that's the main key. So then going overseas, it was still a struggle. COVID hit. Um, and I had signed an agent. It's super competitive. Obviously, every basketball player that graduates to have a good season, they want to play overseas too. So, I was working at a job, just waiting. Usually you're supposed to go in August when the season starts. Nothing came. I just kept going to work, and I was like, I started like emailing professional coaches directly. I'm like, you know what? I have good stats. I have good highlights. I feel like I really thought like if I was to email or reach out to every single team in the world, one of them is going to get me. So every day I took it step by step. I'm gonna email like 10 or 20 today, and the next day I'll do 10 teams, 10 teams. And it was funny, I got responses, but none of those emails were or reaching out was the reason I got overseas. I randomly got a call from my agent in January. It was already by playoffs in Armenia this time, where they said, "Hey, they found me or saw me, and they said, would you want to come out to Armenia? It's the playoffs, so it might be 3 or 4 games, but do you want to come out here?" I'm like, you know what, this is this is what I've been waiting for. So obviously I took that risk, and yeah, now I was like, okay, now I was a professional basketball player. I played that game, and it was almost like NBA finals. So we do like best of 7 or best of 6, and yeah, I played about 3 games, and then the last game we was facing elimination, and I was like, "Yo, this might be my last chance. Like, who knows if I even play after this?" So I had 50 points. I went as hard as I can, and I just locked in tunnel vision. I had 50-point game, and we actually still lost.
No.
But it was funny. I was depressed, but like, you know what? I gave about all. That's how I feel like life. I mean, one of my gems, my dad always told me is like, if you do anything, if you give it your best,
That's
if you did
right.
a physics test, you studied your hardest and did your best on it, whatever the outcome is, you can live with because you put 110% in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that
So
is so good.
that's a
Okay,
good
keep
one.
going. Keep going. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah. So I after that game, I was like, oh damn, this might be like I didn't know what was. You can never predict the future. Like I don't know what's next. So I'm like, that was the playoff game. I had 50, but we lost, and I don't know what's next. And then like I got a call from I think it was my agent or the other team. So the team I played so well with that 50-point game that the team we just lost to going to the finals wanted to pick me up. I didn't even know that's how it works. It's not like high school. So basically they like dropped somebody off their team and then picked me up on their team
Oh,
and like
wow.
paid me extra, moved me to a different apartment with a balcony like in the middle of the city, and then I had like my new teammates and everything, and it was just funny because the people I was just playing against, they just picked me up now, and it was like, started me right away, and I had a good experience over there. So then that was it, and then the way overseas works, nothing's 12 months, so I am going home, seeing what's next. Picked up another job doing cold calling. It was horrible. 150 calls a day. And then I had reached out to a different agent that got me a deal in Iceland. So then I was I ended up leaving that job. I was working like at a basketball camp, and then I was discussing my deal, and this deal was paying me money. One of the best deals at the time. So like, paying me money, gave me a car, gave me an apartment, paying for 2 meals a day, and the flights. And I was like, this is it.
Yes.
Because I didn't have all that in the first deal. It was kind of like, getting my foot in the door. So now this was like the fulfillment moment. Like, now this is my second country now after, everybody that said I wasn't good enough in high school, I showed them in college, and now I'm, one of the few people to play overseas. And it was just amazing. The way I was treated in Iceland was like, you don't realize how, like you said about the water bottle metaphor, the treatment there was probably even the best I've got my life, and I kept getting better treatment depending on where I was. But I was wanted there. You're like an anomaly because there's not a lot of New York. like African Americans that play
Right.
professionally in Iceland. You know, you're like now you're in a 0.1% type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started like noticing. I think that's what attracted me overseas because being from New York and Long Island, when you move away, you see how much New York is valued.
Yes.
Even America is valued, and it's that kind of blew my mind because I'm like, anybody that's in New York, feeling like feeling down or feeling whatever, it's like when you really put it into a global perspective, you could still like they said if you have $10 and no debt, you're richer than 25% of the world or something.
Wow.
And like when you go somewhere, you don't realize that there's nobody else like you. And then the more experiences as you get older, you realize there's really just it's one of you. And your
Yeah.
experiences, nobody like me in Iceland, like I don't think anybody in my family has ever been. I don't know anybody else who's been to Iceland in their life, and they probably
I
like
haven't.
yeah. Once you get those experiences, you're like not only you realize your experiences kind of make who you are because what you experience, like even the surgery, whatever, the schools you go to, with friends, relationships, your specific experiences will never. Somebody else will never have those same exact experiences, and
Mm-hmm.
then everything that leads up, all the decisions, that's what makes you who you are.
And I want to say, being that you were probably like the only black person there or one of the
I was
few,
yeah. I saw a
was
black person
it,
every 4 days.
did you have a culture shock? How was maneuvering that in a whole another world?
Yeah, it definitely was a culture shock because not only am I the only black person, you might see like a couple, like somebody from Africa, but
Mm-hmm.
there's like no Americans in general. So
Mm.
then, and then you realize, yeah, I feel like it really opens your mind because it's like English is not the first language; it's Icelandic. So things
Oh.
you think normal, because like especially Long Island, there's a lot of keeping up with the Joneses, and then you didn't realize how much money is in Long Island. But then you go somewhere else, and like everything that matters in New York or Long Island is not even a thought somewhere else. Like their main priority is like a whole completely different thing that wouldn't be a priority here. And then like stuff you take for granted, like you know, just running water or something like that's some countries don't have that. They're not
Yeah.
even worried about designer clothes or the newest car. They just want any car or
Right.
any clothes. And it's like, wait a minute, that's you don't realize how blessed you are because the fact that you're in a position to even think about getting those things, like the newest sneakers or the newest car,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, it's like wow. Because some people go through a whole life without ever having a car,
That's
or
right.
yeah, never having any clothing that costs more than $100, or sneakers that ever one pair of sneakers their whole life, and you're like, it puts it in perspective, like wow, what's
You
really
know, and
important.
you're so right because I remember it didn't hit me about like quote unquote how privileged I was until I was down in college and I went to like a pretty prestigious school and we had something called the privilege walk and every time that they would list a privilege you would take a step forward or a step
Mm,
behind and I was one of the few, okay, that made it all the way to the other side. And I had to look around and saw
uh,
how many people I was leaving behind. And I said, whoa, that's
yeah.
crazy. And I'm like, oh, now I know why people were looking at me a little sideways. You know, like I
Yeah, you
didn't
don't even notice
realize
it.
that.
Yeah. And what school you went to?
I went to Belmont, which is also a basketball school.
Yeah, what state is that again?
Tennessee, Nashville.
Tennessee. Yeah, then
Mm-hmm.
that's why. Yeah, I really think it's like Lehigh was one of like the most prestigious schools in Long Island. But just
Yes.
I feel like just being from New York in general, you take stuff for granted because it's so crazy here. Like I didn't realize until I left. People are like, yo, New York is one of the the richest cities in the world, and I was like, oh, is it really? I looked it up, and I'm like, oh yeah, it is. There's like
Right.
when there's New York Fashion Week, the ball dropping, the Thanksgiving parade, July 4th, like all the events that happen here that you grow up thinking is normal. Like that doesn't happen in other countries. So they always watch these every movie almost is based in New York, and like when you watch it, you're like, oh yeah, that's over there. Like you know where that's at. I've been there before. But
Mm-hmm. I
then
love doing that.
but so many people are watching, like, wow, like it's a dream for them to come to New York one time. And then
Yes.
every time I was take these flights back, it's always like people that are not from New York. I remember I went on a flight and I was the only one from New York on the flight, and everybody else was like visiting for their first time. Like, this their life savings and it was their life dream to go. and they already have kids. They're probably like 40 years old by now, and there's like their one dream is to visit New York for one weekend,
Wow.
and you're like, wow, and I'm here trying to move away from it. So
Right.
it's like yeah, it's a weird perspective.
Pursuing your dream is hard enough. You might as well look good while you're doing it. Like I always say, when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you do good. Embodied Apparel is all about doing good for the community. It provides quality statement apparel and opportunities for firsthand social and civic engagement. My favorite part is not only are the t-shirts soft and comfortable, but they are printed by Turn 90, which is a nonprofit that provides therapy and job placement to men creating a new direction after prison. Now that's a dream I can get behind. Shop now at embodiedapparel.com, and for a 10% discount on your purchase, please use the code FazePlace. What is the most surprising thing about professional basketball that you did not initially account for when you thought about having this as your career?
That's a good question. Yeah, I guess like what we talked about, like the things you think is normal are just not normal. Like in the Maldives, the streets are very small, so there's like thousands of motorcycle like scooters everywhere, and people barely have cars, and you're like, that's how people get around. It's just funny. It's like little stuff like that.
So I have a fun question to ask.
Mhm.
Do you have a favorite basketball movie?
Oh, favorite basketball movie. Fuck, I'm blanking out which one's my favorite. Like the stuff that came to mind is what like Mike.
Yes, that was
Um,
my movie. I love Little Bow Wow. You just don't know.
yeah, it's got. I haven't watched a basketball movie in a while, but I guess yeah, it got to be like that because that's the one that's coming to mind right now.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
sure it's
that's
something
good.
else, but that's what popped in my mind when you asked. So I'm gonna go with
Yeah,
that.
I love like Mike. So during 2020, you ventured out on another dream, your clothing line. And I
Hmm.
love this because you're able to combine your love for basketball, your knowledge in marketing, your message in believing in limitless dreams. And you took on an experience that was meant to break you and you turned it into a brand that inspires. Tell us about See No Limits.
Yeah, during it's actually funny because I just made the logo. I've actually been like working on. It's been years. I've been working on like making my own pair of goggles because everything I went through, like the bulky ones I did, like I've been working on it. So in the meantime, I was like, oh, I might as well come up with a logo for it. So I did it on the app. Just came out the logo, and then during COVID, when I was trying to go overseas, I didn't have a tank top to work outside. And I was like, I don't want a Nike one. I just want to create like a custom one. So I just went to a customized store, like shirt store, and then put the logo on the tank top. It just went to work out with my friends, and they all like the reaction I got was crazy. They're like, "What is that? Like that's cool." I'm like, "Oh, really?" Like I just, it's just like custom shirt. They're like, "Could you get me one? Like, I want a custom shirt." And I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, I probably could." So then I looked into it and then made it. And then every time I made it and gave it to somebody, somebody else would ask me like, "Oh, they got one. Oh, could I get one too? I'll buy one." And I'm like, "Oh, wait, I can make money off of this," or And then people like the message. So the logo means it's an infinity sign with dots in the middle, so it means see no limits. Like this, those dots represent eyes, and then infinity is infinity sign because yeah, like I mean, from based on my story, I was supposed to stop at 16, but then I played for the next decade. Winning MVPs, winning championships, and then all these places around the world. I'm either going for free, they're paying for it, and I'm getting paid to experience life and experience cultures and to keep playing basketball, which was my dream as a 5 year old, was just like amazing. And I'm like, I wanted to spread that message to other people, like like coaches, people, it might limit your vision or give you a ceiling like yo you're not good enough, you should just probably stick to this or that. But it's like if you feel it in you and you have the vision, like your parents might not even see it, your family, it's like it's so hard because you feel so isolated. But if you have something you dream of or have a vision, you got to stick to it and just work towards it, and then you could do it. Like, I believe anybody can do it, whatever they have the vision of. Like I'm people tell me like crazy stuff all the time. I'm never the one to laugh. Because I've been that person. Like, hey, I want to
Right.
be this, and people laugh at me like, come on, man. Like, and they'll laugh me off, and it's like, that hurts. And you might get discouraged and stop pursuing it. I remember like even college, I told one of my coaches my favorite player was Russell Westbrook, and they laughed at me like, figures. that'll be your favorite player because he plays like you, or like he turned over before he became Russell Westbrook. And I actually stopped saying that. When people ask me who's your favorite player, I wouldn't say that no more. It was funny because the next, like 3 years later, he won MVP of the league. I started like keeping tabs on everything people told me, that like laughed at me for, or said I was stupid for. As you get older, you see it, like people, people you go to school with or whatever, like people who you that got laughed at, they end up doing something what they said they was gonna do. So like that was like one of the key examples. Like you laughed at me for like even liking somebody, and like society can get shaped like that. They're like, oh, you like him and blah blah blah. They judge you for it. But I'm like, yeah, that was my favorite player, and now he's the MVP. That makes sense, right? Does that make sense? That he's a good
Yep.
player. I realized I never really like fit in, before high school and stuff. I was like, you know what? Instead of trying to fit in, it's been 18 years. I'm just gonna accept it. Like, yeah, I accept the fact that I'm different and I don't fit into a specific group or category. And I was like, you know what? It is what it is. Like, I'm already about to be 20 now. At that time, like, you know what? I accept it. And then once I accepted it, everything shifted. Like, I'm not depressed for not fitting in a group, because now you're not trying to fit in a group. You're just being yourself. You're doing your vision. People will be your friends automatically just from being you. Like, it's gonna happen. Like, people come to your group. You attract people based on what you're doing versus trying to be something else and being unhappy because you're trying to fit in with somebody else that probably don't even like the same stuff you do. So I feel like that it was a mindset twist. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
dropping gems, right? You're like, yeah, it's true.
You are dropping so many gems, Elijah. I'm just so proud of you. I'm just beaming. I'm beaming. I used to sit next to him in physics. No. It's
Yeah, a
amazing.
lot of
And
growth since then.
yes, say is that's what Phase Place is all about. I created this platform because I really didn't have people to really talk about dreaming with, and I have 2 degrees. I've spent a lot of time in the entertainment field, and I'm just like, there's not a lot of people around me that can understand. People probably thought I was crazy. When I was younger, I said, I'm moving to Nashville. I'm going to meet my favorite singer. We're going to be best friends, And some people were nice. They didn't want to like laugh in my face, but I knew they didn't think
Mhm.
I believe, they didn't believe it. But that's what I did, you know?
You did? I didn't know that.
I
So
did. And it was because you stay focused and you just stay true to the vision that you have. You just try to encourage people along the way. So I love this. I love your brand. Tell people where they can find your brand and how can they keep up with you.
definitely. So it's you can go on the website. There's a whole website for it. It's bucketsproductions.com. BUCKETS Productions, PRODUCTIONS.com. Yeah, just came out with 5 new sweatsuits and tracksuits. It's going pretty well now on Instagram. It's C No Limits, so C.no.limits on Instagram. And I was developing. I feel like I've seen the improvement from when I started in COVID as a big logo. I started making T-shirts, hoodies, tying up the logo. Have seen no limits on the back for some of the designs. That's why I've grown to realize, like, your favorite song, somebody hates it. Your favorite
Yep.
your favorite clothing, somebody doesn't wear it. So it's like that's another thing of like you're thinking for yourself. Like not everybody is gonna like what you do, but you just gotta
Right.
find your niche. Find people that do like it, and focus on those people that are supporting you, not the
That's
people
right.
that are. I mean, you could take. I take the criticism too, like the opinions. Okay, you don't get offended by it, but it's kind of like I've gone. I've grown to be unemotional about it. It's like, okay, that's your opinion. I respect your opinion. Just like you said, if people want to move to Nashville, like you said it, I had a straight face. Like, if that's what you want to do, I'm not judging anybody. Like, if that's what you want to do, go do it. Who says you can't? So I don't like people that say you can't do something. I'm the type of person like will motivate you to like, yeah, go. If that's what you want to do, do it.
That's what you want to do. That's right. I love it.
Yeah.
And your brand is now in 11 countries and counting, right?
Yes. So yeah, it's
Wonderful.
still growing. It's a small team, primarily just me. So but yeah, every country I went to, I would sell it there, and then like people from other countries started buying it. Like just last week, somebody from that lives in Lagos, Nigeria, he has like a little vlog going on. He like put it on with his friends, and I was like, wait a minute, this is like it's in Africa, it's in Europe, it's in Asia, and then it's not where I wanted to be yet. But I'm like, you know what, it's getting somewhere.
Yep. Small steps
Because
is still progress.
yeah,
I seen it because I follow the page they are fire, okay? All the designs, fire.
Thank you.
So
Yes.
y'all have to run and go get it. Hi, friends, it's Phaedra, and you are listening to Faye's Place. Join us each week as we talk to industry insiders about their journey and what it takes to turn dreams into a reality. Whether you aspire to be in the entertainment field or just inspired by the hustle, count this as your backstage pass. Join us every Monday for a brand new episode. And also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Faye's Place. What are you currently dreaming up, whether that's professionally or personally?
I don't know. It's weird. I never thought about this. So like I said, back to Iceland when I was like, okay, that was my dream to play professional basketball. I feel like most people will get to the point where, okay, what's next? So like when I was in Iceland, I was like, I made it. I'm here. And then it was almost like an emptiness. Like I didn't think this far. Like I didn't think about, nobody thinks about getting their dream and then what's after. And I'm like, oh shit.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm only 23. Like, okay, I played professional basketball. Like now I gotta find a new goal or do something else. And that was like, it was weird. And I was like nobody to talk to because a lot of people that I went to school with that played basketball, I don't want to say it like that, but yeah, they like kind of hating on me because like if they haven't played at that level, they're like, oh, they're still trying to chase their goal. Like I still want to play overseas. So anybody that didn't play overseas, I can't really talk to them because they're not hearing any complaints. They're just saying, oh, like, yo, you're ungrateful. So now that's when I understand like people say like, the NBA players, like if they have, I don't know, mental health or whatever they're complaining about, nobody wants to hear it. It's like you're making $1 million and you're making $1 million in the NBA, and nobody cares. Like everybody wants to play in the NBA and they never get it, so they just stay at that and they get older, and that's what it is. But I feel like for the people that reach their dreams and like fulfill it, it's weird because then you realize it's like literally only 1% of people
Mm-hmm.
that do what they want to do in life, and then when I come back home, I'm like, it's like a time warp. It's like, oh, what people still, doing the same thing every year or have a goal and never really accomplished it. So they're angry at people or angry at life. And then it's like, yeah, then I felt isolated again. And then like people that once were my friends, they're kind of mad that they didn't reach their goal. And if I'm living their goal, they say it's weird, like, oh, you living my dream, or like take it personally, like it's my fault or something. Yeah, I'm just
Right.
transparent. That's the only way I know how to
No,
communicate.
that
So
is so true.
yeah.
You have to come back so we have that conversation on Faye's Place because a lot of people
Yeah,
don't
that's a whole
talk
nother
about.
story.
It's a whole nother story. What happens when you achieve your dream? And
Yeah.
sometimes you don't, like you said, you don't think that far.
Yeah, I didn't know. I'm
It's
like,
so
oh,
good. That's gonna be
this
good.
is what I wanted to do. I was like, I can't just like have a whole nother life to live. I'm not gonna just, God willing, I'm not gonna die at
Yeah.
23. So I was like, okay, what's next? And then I'm like, the fact that I fulfilled it, I'm like, did I not dream big enough? But then, if you say to somebody else, they're like, what do you mean? Like you did
Mm.
stuff that, people would never accomplish in their life. And then you kind of like, going back and forth because if you say it to anybody or you say what you're thinking, you sound a little crazy. It's like, oh, you're bugging out, man. You live the dream. It's like maybe it's the dream to you, but I don't know. Like I have bigger dreams. I remember reading this book. Yeah, it's bad. I forgot the name of it. I can look it up,
It's
but
okay.
it was basically like I think it was a former like basketball player. Actually, before I even played overseas, he's a former professional basketball player, and he like it was like weird. There's a book about sharks, but then he just talked about like sharks, if they move backwards, they die. And so the book was saying you gotta just keep moving forward because if you like look back, you're like risking your life. So and then it
Oh,
talked
that's
about
so
like
good.
yeah, it talks about you gotta keep swimming. You can't look back. Like obviously there's like great stuff, but it's like I can't live off of what I did a couple years ago. It's like you just gotta keep going and moving forward because you
That's
have a whole
right.
life to live.
That's right. Well, you guys
Hmm.
can help him continue to dream and encourage yourselves by buying See No Limits brand. Where else can they follow
Yes.
you besides so they could go on Instagram on your personal page?
Yeah, my personal page is ebuckets, personal page,
Mm-hmm.
but the business page for the brand is C No Limits with dots in between. So C dot no dot limits. You got the website, bucketsproductions.com. And then I have a TikTok now.
Okay, TikTok.
Buckets
Okay.
Productions, Buckets underscore Productions underscore LLC.
And he's
I
also
think it's
on
E Buckets
YouTube.
too. Yeah, I
He's
got
also on
YouTube too.
YouTube. Yep.
EB
I was watching
Buckets
those
everywhere.
videos.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, it was great.
Oh,
Wonderful,
thank you.
wonderful. But thank you, Elijah, so much. Anything else you want to tell the listening audience before we wrap up
Oh,
this conversation?
oh no, it's a pleasure. It's funny how like life is full circle, and like I just said, like when you just be you, things come to you. Like so, you reached out to me to like tell the story, and I feel like it's funny because I know I've had you on like Instagram for like 10+ years now, so I know
Yes.
you probably see the hardships. Like you saw me in school at Lehigh, High, and it wasn't like it was great, to a lot of people, but it wasn't where I wanted to be. So then the fact that you were able to see that, and I was able to be your friend and everything, it's
Yes.
great.
Well, I'm so proud of you, Elijah. Keep seeing no limits. Keep dreaming big. And you are welcome back to Faye's Place anytime. Anytime.
Okay, thank you. I'm proud of you too. Good seeing you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode. Stay tuned next Monday where we'll have a new episode with you in mind. Love you all for listening. This podcast episode was recorded with Riverside.